I forgot to put on the thing.
Oh, well, hey, yeah, we're here.
So wait,
we,
hold on.
we're,
Pretend you're
are we,
not seeing this, people on the internet. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the PullBoxPals podcast. I don't know why you're giggling. Why are you giggling? My buddy Mark. My name's Monk, by the way. This is going to be a hell of a podcast.
when it actually got down to the live part, we were already kind of live before you did the countdown.
What do you mean?
And
I didn't forget to do.
But I was looking at this picture that you sent me of your cat.
Can you hold that up to the camera? I'll explain it to the listeners and the viewers at home. My cat does this thing where it sits in the windowsill and with the back of its butt, and then the front of its body sits on my futon, so its belly just hangs in the air. And I was just telling Mark that was happening before the podcast. But yeah, how you doing, bud?
Is the cat a little is it a tubby cat?
I mean, it is now that it's we've been feeding it extra well, but not particularly tubby. But
it is now.
I guess I want to make it tubbier now if that's gonna how it sit. I just want to just have it there so I can smack it.
Yeah, probably feels good in some way. That's probably why your cat lays like that.
So you were telling me, Mark, we were talking a little bit about this before we jumped on, Mike. Today at your comic book shop, somebody spent several $100s on comics.
Yeah, so every once in a while I get behind this guy when I go in to get my pulls, and I think that my record in 1 week is 14.
That's what I was gonna ask. What's the most you ever dropped on comics?
I'm pretty sure 14 is the most I've ever pulled on one day, and but there's this guy that I get behind every once in a while, and he spends hundreds of dollars on comics, and a lot of times it is on a well, I think that's all. I think he buys bulk of we'll just say for just I don't know, Captain Marvel #1, and he buys 10 copies of them, and they're already boarded and bagged. And so I just think he's either in some sort of reading club where he's the guy who goes and picks up every week, or I don't know, maybe he has his own shop, or I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does with all of those, but
he's an extreme collector.
Yeah, we can theorize on what he does with all that, but it's just the most I've ever seen him spend in front of me is $500 something, and I was just man, I that good for you.
I know I've spent over $100 because on Free Comic Book Day, my comic book shop does this thing where if you are one of the first 10 people to spend over $100, you get a $10 gift card or something like that.
That's cool.
1 year I was first in line, and I knew I wanted to get a bunch, so I'm well, fuck it, might as well just go for it. And I also bought this Ant-Man statue that I can actually grab because it's right here.
Have you seen the new
I haven't seen. No, I haven't.
It's on a cruise ship or something.
Yeah.
And
it talks about the butt thing.
The butt. Yeah. Why doesn't he just go inside of Thanos and expand? And, but he talks about it in a way where it's there's children in the room. So I'm going to speak to the adults in code. But
it's funny.
But what's really funny, because that was a meme for a long time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so anyways, but I've only watched the first episode of The Boys that's come out of the latest season, and it was too much for me. I'll just tell you that if you haven't seen it, and if you're listening and you have, this won't spoil anything because I'm not going to go into super detail, but something to that magnitude happens.
Yeah, I heard about it. I watched the scene.
And so I was watching it, And when it started happening, I just started shouting, "No, no, 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 no." And I didn't know that Kate was asleep. I thought she was watching too, but I woke her up for that scene.
Well, good.
And so we haven't watched it. We haven't watched it since. And it's just
No,
like
I'll watch, like, I don't know, man. There's like some dark stuff in there, and I'm not afraid of dark stuff, but like,
it's just
I
how
don't know.
much like they push it every episode with, like, I mean, they said that the episode 6, which I believe was titled Hero Gasm, wasn't
Yeah.
suitable for any audience.
I only just watched clips. I would love to read the comics. I've read like some panels and stuff because I was interested how like some things worked in the comic or whatever. My cat is hanging out. I'm sure you can see her tail. But how
that was like a furry lightsaber that wiggles.
Yeah. That's the best kind of lightsaber.
Yeah.
Are you ready to chat some comics, my friend? I believe you're going first for the pools.
Yeah. So let me just start here with what I got on top, and I don't know if it's gonna escalate in excitement or not. We'll see.
I don't know if we've got like any overlap this week.
I think we might have one.
Yeah,
and I believe it's this one.
Oh no, we might have two.
Okay, we'll see.
Mark,
we'll see. But you got this, yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Did you get this cover?
No, I got a cover that I actually really enjoyed, and I think that you're going to enjoy too. Because you were talking about your Little Monsters copy before we jumped on, and I purposely didn't mention this because I think you'll really like this.
Oh, so dude, that's the cover I thought I was getting.
Yeah,
I love that cover.
Dope. She's licking blood off of his guitar. It's very sweet. It's very like Archie or like the Peanuts kind of reminiscent.
Dennis the Menace.
Yeah, for sure.
Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, I really enjoy this cover. I mean, I'm taking time away from your pool.
No, dude, that's fine.
I'm not super enjoying this comic, but this comic in particular, at least the cover, I enjoy.
Wait, you're not liking Little Monsters?
I'm indifferent to it. I'm not like when it like showed up in my pool box today, I wasn't like thrilled to read it. But, I'm
well, here's something that I've been having. My brother was in town this week, and he was asking me some questions about comics, and something that I'm kind of realizing is that, like, if you like issues like 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 aren't very good, I think good comic book writers, storytellers, artists are able to wrap it all up in like issue 5 or the later issues. If it's a 6-issue arc, maybe it is 5 and 6, but like if it's like All Rise and then issue 4 kind of like dips a little bit, it, for me at least, it seems like issue 5 is just like, man, like it was good, but it wasn't like overall. It just like, like how I felt like with Last Flight Out, right? And yeah, like I would say with Little Monsters issues 1 and 2, I really liked them. Issue 3 was just like this change of pace, and it just kind of seemed like this is a perspective that needs to be told. And then issue 4, I loved issue 4. Like the ending of it was the most shocking of all the endings to me so far.
Oh, like, right. Yeah, you know what? I actually like legitimately, like as you were saying that, I'm like, did I read issue 4? And then I remembered, and now I'm like, so okay, I guess I'm excited. Maybe it feels like it's been forever since issue 3 came out or issue 4 came out. So maybe that's just what it is. It's just been too long between drinks for me.
That happens, man. I understand. Speaking of,
dude, don't forget to take a little sippy poo or something there for you. You're getting parched, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm excited about Little Monsters. I have liked it all, but I will agree that like issues 1 and 2 had a really high magnitude, and that magnitude dipped in 3 and 4 a little bit, but I think 4 just had the best finish. So I'm excited about issue 5. But shall we keep going, because we can keep chatting Little Monsters more later.
Yeah, let's do it. And I do think we potentially have one more. I know I got something. But anyways, keep going.
We'll see, because my next 3 come from Scout Comics, and it's kind of interesting because Scout Comics seems to have like their own type of release system. But anyways, I finally got City of Magic #2.
Okay.
Remember, I remember not liking issue 1 and saying that, this issue will probably make or break it for me. So we'll see. I remember not liking the art so much. I feel like it was distracting. And that there just wasn't a whole lot of depth to the conversation happening. But we'll see how issue 2 goes. I wouldn't like necessarily like hate it and loathe it, but it was just like, I don't know, subpar for me. And then the next two
do it for you.
Yeah, it hasn't. I honestly can't. I kind of remember issue 1, and I might have to go back and look at my notes or even just read a review about it just to remember what it is. But I remember liking it. That's what I do remember. But Beyond the Beyond #2 came out.
Nice. Okay.
But not only that, issue 3 also came out.
What happened there?
I don't know. But so issue 3 on League of Comic Geek shows that it's coming out next week. And usually when this happens, it just means that there was some sort of little kerfuffle. And then I usually watch like that next issue drift on down the line. But this time it didn't happen. I found that interesting. My next one, I want to finish with that one because this next one I'm not like thrilled upon it. And I need to remind my shop that I asked that I don't want this anymore. It's that Star Wars Halcyon Legacy, which it's like watching that like Ant-Man video that I referenced earlier. Like that's how I feel about this. It's just like an ad for something for Disney. Like that. Like,
that's again, I've always said that it's like just my least favorite thing about Marvel is the clear cash grabs that they do.
Yeah,
it's such a bummer.
But it is also, I think they're trying to kind of use this because I know they're trying to get away from legacy character storytelling with Star Wars. Maybe that this Halcyon Legacy thing is their jump ship to like some new characters because they are introducing new people in it as well as like bringing in people that from the movies or the shows. So
yeah,
we'll see. But the last but probably most excited about reading is There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd.
And who's this by?
This is from Aftershock. It's written by Ed Brisson, I believe.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
And I just realized that I just blew through all of those without even talking about them, like who wrote it. But since we're on it, There's Something Wrong with Patrick Todd. It's written by Ed Brisson. I'm unfamiliar with him as far as I know. I don't have any of his stuff previously. The artist is Gavin Goudry. The colorist is Chris O'Halloran. It's lettered. Okay, I do know the letterer.
There you go.
Yeah, Hassan Atsmain Allahu. I think that's how you say his name.
I mean, that's a name you wouldn't forget.
Yeah. So I know him from. Let me look back on it real quick.
You got this. You're gonna figure it out so hard.
I own 12 of what he's put out, so I should know. Oh,
yeah,
he did Chicken Devil.
Oh, great.
That's one of them that I have.
Like I can't see it on my thing. It's up there too high.
But go to own.
Chicken Devil's great, man. I'm very excited for that to come back, especially the letters in that. I mean, all of the art, everything is done great.
He's also done Bloodstained Teeth, which I have all of those so far.
Okay,
and he's also a part of What's the Furthest Place from Here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's the letterer for What's the Furthest Place from Here.
I think I have my copy of that. I'm gonna see if. Oh no, I don't. It's somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I did have mine here. Before we started the show. But I switched it out for. I got 3 Star Wars things up here to talk about if we can get to them. But
sure.
Star Wars, and everybody's talking about Star Wars, so we don't always have to.
Everyone's always talking about Star Wars.
Everybody. But yeah, so that was kind of like my draw to it. It was just like, okay, like I actually recognize the name of the letterer, so I should get in on this. But here's the premise. It's a 15-year-old Patrick Todd lives on the run, hiding out in seedy motels, living out of his backpack, and making sure that his mom, recently struck down by a mysterious illness of the mind, is well cared for. But doctors cost money, a lot of money. And so Patrick turns to a life of crime. So that it sounds a little cliche, right? A little bit. Just with that line, the turns to a life of crime. Like, I mean, who doesn't these days? Using the telepathic abilities he's been hiding all his life, he forces the worst of the worst to rob banks, taking money before making them turn themselves into the police. But someone has taken notice of Patrick's schemes. A reckoning is coming. Will the
This is the
police
longest synopsis in the world.
Yeah, it gives a really long one. Will the police find Patrick in time to save him, or will he become yet another victim of the killer called Zeus? And honestly, it's the cover that first drew me to it, as well as like I know the letter of this.
Yeah.
But I just like there's obviously something more going on based on the cover that they're not talking about. So there's something possibly like supernatural or like sci-fi about it.
Yeah. There's a killer named Zeus.
This is a killer named Zeus. Like, is it Zeus the god? You know?
Hopefully not. That seems dangerous.
It does. He's a dangerous guy. So the stories say.
He's a horny guy.
Yeah, very. Very.
I mean, the art looks cool. It doesn't sound bad. It just that sounds convoluted. They probably could have summed that. They probably could have made that sound a little bit better.
It was, yes, but I don't know. I'm drawn to it. We'll see. Like,
yeah.
Typically, Aftershock does a good. Oh, I'm flipping through this, and I really like the art.
Yeah. Who's the art again?
Art is Gavin Goodry.
Okay, that doesn't ring any bells for me, but
nah,
I'm sure they do a great job. But would you like me to share with me or with you your my pools? Wow. Would you like to share?
I want to keep talking about Patrick Todd.
All right, you want to go ahead, keep talking. Good old Patrick Todd. So the first one that I'm going to share here is the one that I thought that you would have as well.
Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, you probably just did, or your shop didn't have it. But The Ward #2. The Ward. It's the comic book about the mythical hospital.
I know. I did the dog tilt, the dog head tilt, because I'm just as shocked as you that I don't have it. Like like my dog is shocked that I'm not handing him the food that is in my hand.
Do you want me to hand this? Do you want to eat my copy of The Ward #2? Yeah. Did you just not see it? I guess you didn't know that it was coming out this week.
I don't know. I don't know how I missed that.
Well, accidents happen, buddy.
They do.
So this is Kevin Scott, Andreas Pounce, and Mauro Mantella. Mark and I reviewed issue 1 of this on the podcast sometime back. You actually picked it up, and I was on the fence about getting it, and then you kind of you got it, and then I think you posted about it and that you were enjoying it or something like that. But I ended up picking it up the next week, or I think I might have even went out and got it on my own, just not on a Wednesday. But I read it and I really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to issue #2. There's some orcs giving birth or something like that. It seems like it's going to be messy. It's about a mythical hospital where all of the creatures from mythology go to get cured of their ailments, because it's a hospital. That's what they do. But there's also a woman who used to work there, who was brought in because a woman that she knows showed up at her house wounded. And so she has to kind of figure out why this happened. And then she's getting dragged back into kind of an old life situation.
Yeah.
But that's that comic. I might even read that tonight, because I feel like it'll just be pretty simple, but maybe not. But this is actually the only comic that I got this week that is a #1. And It is from AWA Upshot. It is called Absolution. I have no idea what it's about. It says play die at the bottom of this here thing, so maybe it has some sort of game. I don't know.
It sounds like a game.
All I know is that Mike Didato Jr. does the art, and
you're a fan of that guy.
I love him. So, I just whatever he puts out, I will pick up because I enjoy it. And also the letterer is Lee Lowridge, who works a lot with Didato. So, yeah, really enjoy them. And then Peter McGillen. That name looks familiar to me, but I honestly can't.
Sorry, what was the name?
Peter McGillen, Milligan. But it says on Absolution, the world is your jury, judge, jury, and executioner. So that doesn't really tell me what this is about. But yeah, this just looks like, classic kind of AWA stuff, just very sci-fi and very like dystopian. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Did you find anything on Mr. McGillen?
He has a I like his profile picture. He kind of has like that friendly, welcoming, like Don Gilman face. Nobody knows who Don Gilman is, but you do. So
no, yeah. Well, good. I'm happy that they have a very welcoming face.
Yes.
If you find out some more, let me know. But
he has 933 comics registered on League of Comic Geeks. And I don't have a single one of them. So no, I know nothing about him.
Wow. Huh. That's a lot of comics. And he probably wrote, I would assume. I mean, that's what he does. So damn.
Yeah.
That name does sound familiar to me. So I definitely probably have something from him.
His most written for publisher is Vertigo Comics.
I don't really read a lot from Vertigo. I don't think I've ever gotten anything from Rebellion.
Yeah, I don't even know what Rebellion is, to be honest, because let's show off my my greenness to comics. But it's true. Oh wow, he did Judge Dredd for them. So yeah, so then Rebellion, and then Marvel, DC. So DC has 101. So he has at least 100 for those four.
Right.
Or for each of those four, and then he has 25 issues for Valiant. I mean, he's been all over the board, but mostly those four: Vertigo, Rebellion, Marvel, and DC. And his DC and Marvel stuff is like, maybe would have read it back in like the 90s.
Oh, so he's been around for some time. Well, yeah, I guess if you're gonna have,
I guess like
some comics, Jesus.
Well, but I mean, some of these too are just like they were like legacy things, so they may have just been like continuations. But because I mean, like, yeah, it says that he wrote for the Batman series, which the dates for that is 1940 to 2011. So
there you go.
So he wrote pre New 52 DC, as well as maybe a little post. It looks like as well.
Yeah. All right. I think we got enough on that guy.
We got enough on that guy. He's got some work that he did, and he must be good at what he does.
Jumping on to the next comic here is Dark Beach number 4. I really enjoy this cover, and I really enjoy this comic. And I know I talk about it every time it comes up and how good it is. But I think what I really like is the they also look like they got a new artist for this issue. They did, because this is not the same art as interesting. I wonder what happened there, because this is like a completely different art style. Yeah.
This is what issue?
Dark Beach number 4.
Number 4.
I have Dark Beach up behind me. Yeah, they definitely got a new artist.
Sebastian Perez.
Yeah, that was the original, and now it's somebody Rugaridi, Gonzalo Rugarelli. I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't mind it, but I'm just realizing that now. That's a little bit of a bummer because I
You were
really
digging
like.
it.
Yeah, but now that I'm looking at it, I actually think this might be a different like perspective on a different story because yeah,
Huh.
this is I'm not recognizing any of the characters, so that could be a oh, I just spoiled it for myself. But now I understand. Yeah, so this is definitely coming from a different perspective. So I wonder if that's why they brought on a different artist to kind of
Well, this
give that.
Ruger, he's the a variant cover artist for the
Okay.
previous issues.
Okay, interesting. So I wonder if they had like all been working together on this or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, hell. Well, now I'm very excited to go into this, but
I'm waiting for this is one that I've decided I'm waiting on the trade paperback for.
yeah. I mean, hell, I might end up getting the trade paperback, but I'm very interested to see where this is going because, like I said, I really enjoyed the main character. He's one of those people that like he's kind of like an anti-hero, almost. Not that I think sometimes when we think of anti-heroes, we just think of them as heroes that kill, but it's just heroes. I mean, main protagonists that are a little rough around the edges, or he has a drug addiction, and yeah, so he it kind of motivates a lot of what he does. So it's very interesting and it's been very enjoyable. And now the fact that I noticed that like the art's different and all that stuff, I want to dive in very quickly and kind of figure out what the story is behind that. But I think it's just going to be in the first issue. They find, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think it's
Yeah.
just going to be a change of perspective of who's telling the story. But for some reason, this next comic wasn't in my pool, which I guess I just forgot to throw it in there. But it's one of my favorites, that Texas Blood. I
Oh
mean, it
yeah.
probably is that. Honestly, between Dark Beach and that Texas Blood, those two are probably my favorite comics that I'm reading concurrently, or like that are I'm reading at the moment. I mean, maybe we'll get into that in a few minutes. I'll mention one that I like potentially. I wasn't going to say a little bit more, but one that I could see becoming one of my one that I enjoy receiving. I'm just going to swing into it now, but let's talk
Yeah.
about 8 Billion Genies #2.
Oh yeah. Go
Because
for
I've
it,
talked
man.
about that Texas Blood a whole lot. That's by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. It's a noir detective, well, kind of a detective story set in Texas. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. If you want to hear me talk about it, go back and listen to any other issue or any other episode because I talk about it all the time. One of my favorite comics. But yeah, let's talk about 8 Billion Genies #2. Do you want to do that?
Let's do that. One second.
All righty.
So Charles Sewell is writing 8 Billion Genies.
Right.
Correct?
And he's done some of the Star Wars stuff, right?
He's done some of the Star Wars stuff. But also, sorry, I've scattered myself because I'm really upset that I didn't have the ward. Yes.
Well, go back and demand it.
I am. I'm. If you heard me typing, I'm currently writing my comic book shop an email. That's how you know I got a little bit scattered there.
That's funny.
But yeah. So what did you think of issue 2 of 8 Billion Genies? I kind of honestly. No, you go. I'll wait. I don't
Well,
want to.
let's just set up the. Do you want to set up the premise? I've been talking for some time. You want to set up the premise?
Of 8 billion Genies overall. So for
Yeah.
people who maybe haven't listened to last week, because I think I talked
Oh,
about
did
issue
we?
1 last week.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But no, this is good. I like that this came out for us to talk about this week. Okay, so 8 Billion Genies is one day 8 billion genies show up on planet Earth. There's about 8 billion people in this world, and so this comic is just rounding that up to that, single digit with a lot of zeros behind it. And and so everybody gets a genie and everybody gets one wish. And so the first issue is the first 8 minutes of 8 billion genies showing up, and like,
oh yeah, I didn't see how long this one was.
this is the first 8 hours.
8 hours. Okay.
And then the next one is the first 8
days.
8 days, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's obviously the theme around the number 8, but
Right.
it is getting into this like mentality of, okay, kind of our, I don't know, supporting protagonist in this series is this old man who runs a bar, who seems like there's more of a backstory to him for sure. Like,
Yeah.
is he a mystical creature hiding as an old white man running a bar?
I
But
thought he was a black man running a bar.
maybe he is.
No, he's not. He's white, because
Oh.
in this issue, I think he even says that he's white, but almost all of the issue number 1 is spent within the bar, so it's dark. So he is like a darker, like he's just drawn darker. So I thought he was a black man, because there's other black people in the bar, and I'm just like, and then he walked into some light, and he was a white man. I was like, oh, huh,
Yeah.
weird. And I don't know if that was like me just reading things wrong, or that just could have drew that better. Or I mean, did you know he was white the whole time? That's a weird question to ask. Okay.
Yes, I did.
Weird.
But also I wanted to real quick. The other reason I got really tied up with the Ward as well is because of 8 billion genies. But Charles Soule and Kevin Scott are like friends, and they both have done Star Wars stuff and worked together on Star Wars stuff. And so that's also why at the beginning of talking about 8 billion genies, I got a little wrapped up about it, because I was like, oh yeah, they're friends, and they both have these amazing like non-Star Wars series out right now. But anyways, 8 billion genies. I'm liking it. I feel like issue 2 could have done a little bit more to show like people outside the bar that are making the stupid decisions, rather than like lumping together all the people who are making stupid decisions.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so
or like just kind of like just talk about them. There's that thing in like, it's just, do, don't, or show, don't say kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and also just, we didn't finish on the old white guy running the bar, whose name I forgot, but his wish was that he like immediately wished. There's 2 people that made like quick wishes in the first issue, and it was him and like the gal that's part of the band, and she made a wish right after him. And hers was that her bandmate would love her. But his wish was, I wish that everybody inside of this bar would not be affected by any of the wishes made outside of this bar, and that this bar would be safe from all other wishes, or something like that. Which is funny, because this issue then starts off with like, I don't know, like a boat or a plane or something like smashing on top of the bar, but it like,
I don't even think I noticed that.
Let me open it up. I just thought that was really like funny, because
I got it. You don't got to take it out.
No, I'm doing it.
Okay.
Because I want to look at it.
We can look at it together. I see it. The Earth has been changed into an ice cream cone. So I don't know if somebody wished for the Earth to be an ice cream cone.
I wish the Earth were made of ice cream.
Well, yeah. That too.
Okay. Oh yeah. No, what it is that somebody who lost their job or something made like a dinosaur out of cars or something, and he's like smashing on the bar, but it can't affect him because it's a wish that was made outside of the bar.
Right. I gotta say, I really love the art. I think it's very unique and original.
Ryan Brown.
Good job, Ryan Brown, on doing something kind of outside of the box. Because it's very like real, but it also has like very jagged edges, which I'm a big fan of that kind of mixture.
Well, even like the covers, like I looked forward on all the covers, and say they all kind of garner this same like 8 billion genies out in the cosmos, and like, all the genies do look like they're embodied by the cosmos.
I love that.
And then like each genie is different on each issue, but then the background art is what is really like fun and cool, because it reminds me of like book covers. Like, if you went to your library and they haven't updated certain books since like, I don't know, the 80s or 90s. Like you're going to see some of like that book cover art, it seems like, but also just like kids books that I remember reading growing up. Like some of that art reminds me of that as well. And so it is like it's very well done. It's very detailed. The lines are pretty dang solid, and
Yeah.
and the is who colored it? Who colors it? Franco.
Yeah, I guess if that's what you're saying.
Franco Resco.
Yeah, color artist Kevin Kipstein is what I'm seeing. I don't see Franco in here at all.
Oh, sorry, I'm I'm looking at the ward.
You're the ward.
That's what I have up in front of me.
That's silly.
There. Now I have.
Here's what I'll say about I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was interesting that the Genies kind of refused to tell them why it was happening.
Yeah.
They were kind of like they were clear that they knew and that they weren't going to tell unless somebody used their wish on it.
Yeah. Well, and then they also like talked about like how if a bunch of people make a similar wish at the same time, so like pretty much every country wished that they would be like the best country in the world, number one, and so it just canceled all of them out. And like that was just like what the Genie said. Oh yeah, when people do that, we just cancel it out. And I think one of the guys was like, "Well, what about all these people making stupid wishes? Like, can't you cancel those out?" Like,
well, I really thought it was interesting that they gave these Genies kind of a smart ass kind of personality, and that they were all kind of like
if the minions spoke English
a little bit. Except I think I don't know what the minions would be yelling. I would imagine that they're just yelling "kill me." But I really like the personalities. I really love like the art style that they use for the Genies. Because I just imagine what that would be like. I think it's cool that they can come and go. Something else that's in the issue is that one of what a parent wishes that he uses their wish to make sure that their kids don't use their wish without his permission.
And then their wishes were undone.
Right? No.
Well, because they all had their Genies over them again.
Right. I can't remember. I don't think they would have been undone because the Genies would have been gone. But I think they were about to make a wish, and the dad stepped before or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there's
the dad.
The reason I brought that up is to just say that I think that I was very hesitant at first for this being 8 issues, but I think in these first 2 issues, it's shown to me that there's enough, like the writers have thought of enough cool things to do with this that it'll carry itself out. It seems very well planned out.
This isn't something like, and this is something too with Image, I believe, because I believe Image is an artist owned. I think Dark Horse is too, but like
most after DC and Marvel were.
A lot, like I think they're like things like 8 billion Genies. It's just like this is out of the mind of Charles Soule. This isn't like, hey, we're Marvel and here's Spider-Man. You just have
we need a Spider-Man run
done. But this is like the direction we want him going in. But you can fill in all these gaps for us. This is like Charles Soule and Ryan Brown creating this what's going to be. I just think that the series overall is going to be great because yes, they planned 8 issues. They know what they were doing with each of the 8 issues, and they probably spent a lot more time than just the month leading or the month in between each issue. Like they probably started this long ago. So
well, yeah, especially with the art, something like that's got to take some time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm loving it. Gonna stay on it probably unless something changes. I'm probably gonna stay on it till the end. But
yeah, as long as it doesn't like dip, because so like something I got last week that you don't see behind me is Berserker. Like I still haven't read the previous issues that came out before it because I was waiting, and I just don't really like have a drive to like read it anymore. And I really hope that doesn't happen with 8 billion Genies. Because now they're just going to go into like my back issue thing where it's just like, all right, I'll get to these.
Yeah. And that's a shame because like I said, like there's only like 2, maybe 3. I really love the Power Rangers comic, but like I'm looking at issue number 3 and I haven't read it. But like every time I read the comics, I'm like, this is really good. But it's so hard to like find comics that you're like, I'm in love with this comic, and I'm going to ride it to the end.
Speaking of a comic that I am in love with,
let's hear it.
Do you see it?
I mean, I see multiple comics.
I know, but like which one do I love?
Darth Vader.
I do
Oh,
love
Righteous
Darth
First for
Vader.
Vengeance.
Yeah, that's the one. Can I talk about this one?
Yeah, absolutely, buddy.
Are we done with 8 billion genies?
Yeah, I don't have anything else I want to say.
Yeah. Well, I guess the consensus is we like it. We're gonna stick with it as long as something doesn't dip. So I really like this issue of Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. It was very much like a change of pace. Because now like the primary antagonist throughout the series so far is dead. He died in the last issue.
Oh no.
And Sonny and Xavier were able to like get away. I mean, Sonny had to like kill the guy so that they could get away. And I don't think Sonny's ever killed. Did he kill somebody in the first arc? I don't think he did. I think he thought he killed somebody, but he didn't.
Now he definitely killed somebody.
Same guy. Yeah, he thought he killed the guy that he did end up killing.
Well,
yeah,
it's like the opposite of serendipitous.
Yeah, but I mean, like, remember issue 8 was the one where like we saw Sonny's wiener. So, and then my wife had walked in the room right as I was talking about like male genitalia in a comic.
We need more of it, more male genitalia in comics.
Yeah, but this one was just a change of pace, and so Sonny and Xavier have skipped over to Mexico, and they're like living right by the beach and all that, and it's just like more of like you get to see them have some like tranquility, just like some peace, and they know nothing's coming after them. But something that's really good about this series too is just what they put into the cover, and it's just like there's this guy up top here. This is why I'm going to be reading it again, is that I don't ever remember seeing this guy in this issue. I've only done one read of this so far, and so I will be doing another one. And then like you can kind of see like Sonny, I don't know if you can see it with the glare, but Sonny's walking through like the market in whatever town he's living in.
Yeah, a little bit.
Whatever pueblo he's living in.
Sure. Yeah.
But so yeah, they're just having like a peaceful time. And then at the end of it, something that was kind of made a big deal of by Sonny at the end of the first arc was that like, oh no, I've left my mother alone to die.
Oh no. Yeah, I remember that.
Like he had to like now go underground, and he's never going to see his mom again. Well, guess who shows up at the end of this issue? Guess who found her little boy?
I would be his mommy. Cool.
Well, yeah, Sonny's mom is found. Wow. Yeah, and it's a little bit of a shocker because all we really knew of her is that she was an elderly woman in a nursing home.
Yeah,
or at least like I wouldn't say a nursing home, just like a retirement home.
Sure, retirement facility.
Yes, retirement community. And so it's just like it's interesting. I want to like I'm curious where they're going with it. So it was nice to see this change of pace, but now they've just left like this whole door in front of us that's like shut pretty tight, and I have no idea where they're going with it, and that excites me because that's kind of, I mean, not in as much of a grotesque way, but like that's kind of how the series started out in issue 1 was like Sonny was just going about his day, and then he fell upon a murder mystery type thing.
And how far into the second arc is this?
This is issue 9, so this is number 4 for arc 2. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. I'm glad that you have that comic. That seems like you're that Texas blood for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just something you look forward to and kind of never really disappoints. So
awesome, it's just like what I mostly appreciate about it. It's most of the story is told through the panels without words. Like there's so little dialogue in it.
I might need to jump on that, man.
Yeah,
because some of the comics I read just has too much dialogue. And do you mind if I switch to a comic that I want to say? Because this would be a perfect segue. I was reading a bunch of my comics last night, and I got to a point where I was like, maybe I'll try to do one more. And I got to this comic that I'm about to read, and I opened it up, and I was just kind of thumbing through it, and I saw that there was a lot of dialogue. And I was like, oh man, I don't really feel like reading a lot right now. I just kind of want to like, breeze through something. But I'm like, fuck it. I'll just give it a go and just kind of start reading through it and see how it goes. But what I'm talking about is The Sins of Black Flamingo #1.
Oh yeah.
I've talked about this last week, and I will say this: I thoroughly enjoyed this comic. I like blew right through it, even though it had a bunch of dialogue and I wasn't in the mood for it. I ended up just kind of, just devouring it because it was incredibly enjoyable. The comic is by Andrew Wheeler, Travis Moore, Tamara Bonvillain, and Adia Bitbarker. And the story is about this individual here, Black Flamingo, who is a homosexual private detective, but only of like mystical artifacts and things like that.
Yeah.
So the story begins with him helping this couple who had a grandfather who was in Nazi Germany, and he was some sort of mystic, and he had a male lover who he saved the life of by turning him into a stone, and he hid his he turned his soul into stone and hid that somewhere else. And if you could connect the soul back to the body, he would come back to life. And so like at the beginning, he just tracks down the soul, throws it in the guy's mouth, and he comes back to life. So yeah, it's just kind of shows that to set up this universe as like mystical and kind of not normal. And I won't spoil it, but he kind of has like some sort of like vision or some sort of like telepathy where he understands where like these mystical things are, and he's kind of like drawn to them, I believe, or maybe he wears glasses. I can't remember, something like that. But at the end, he sees some being, goes to it, and then it's kind of a big shock reveal as to what it is. And I am very much looking forward to see where the story goes. It says 1 of 5, and this is from Image, so I imagine it's, it'll come out pretty consistently, and be good. And I'm very excited about it. The art is pretty standard. Nothing. Here's kind of the panels that I was talking about of that guy, the stone man coming back to life.
Yes.
But and there's a male butt. So yeah, I mean, I hope that the person who's writing it is gay or bi or something like that, because it is kind of a little bit of a like stereotypical gay of just like very flamboyant and all those things, which is fine, but I would prefer that be wrote by somebody who was identifying that rather than kind of just use that, But regardless, the story is great and it's representation, so I hope that the people that identify this enjoy it. I really did. I think it's just a lot of fun. So
that's good.
I don't really have anything else more I want to say about The Sins of Black Flamingo.
This was issue 1, and so like you said, there's 5, so that'll be pretty consistent. I'm excited to see how this one goes, and just I guess I'm more excited to see how it goes for you. Like I don't think I'm going to be hopping on this one unless it turns into something like Dark Beach, because it's like I remember when Dark Beach came out, I thought like I might get it, and then I didn't end up getting it, and it came out, you got it, and you've been enjoying it, and now I'm like, I know I'm going to get the trade paperback when it comes out. And so maybe we'll see if I honestly, Sins of the Black Flamingo, if that
I honestly might get the trade paperback for Dark Beach just because I love it so much. It's so enjoyable. But yeah, man, you got another comic you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that theme of just too much dialogue. I was honestly, I'm a little disappointed by this one. I'll flip it around a little bit. Like actually,
oh boy.
I don't know. That it's kind of extreme to say. I don't think I've felt more let down by a comic in my life.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that's too far. I think it could turn around, but I just don't know if I'm going to continue with it.
Did you have high hopes for this?
I did. The premise of it was just like amazing. Let me bring it up here. Okay. I remember reading this one to you, I think, on a few episodes ago, like when we maybe talked about this coming out, or maybe we just like talked about it on the phone one day, and it wasn't on an episode. But anyways, this is the pub sum for it. Horny robots. Super evolved orangutan bosses, joyriders from the 26th century. Nothing phases Philip Blank, top agent for the sci-fi spy organization known as World. But lately, Philip's been wondering if there isn't more to life than saving the world through creative violence and blah blah blah. So I started reading this last Wednesday. So last week, this is the first comic that I picked up for the week. And like before I like read a comic, that's when I'll take my picture of it if I feel like I'm going to put it up on Instagram after I'm done reading it, because I want to take the picture, and if I feel like I have something good to say, then I'll post. I got like 4-5 pages into this and like set it down.
Oh, no.
And I did end up picking it up and like reading it, like doing it, like giving it its fair shot.
Yeah.
But it was just like, this cover's super, like, I really like the cover. I think it's super cool. But the whole comic is this convoluted with like so many different images of different characters and beings and buildings. Like, I'll just let me pop it open.
Sure.
It's just
like
like
a good page. Oh yeah.
I mean, like that's page 1. Here's page 2 and 3. Like there's just so much to look at, but then also look how many like dialogue boxes there are.
Yeah.
Like it was just so overbearing to me that I just couldn't even look. It's just,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I feel like it could turn around in the storytelling, but the art is what mostly, and just the placement of the dialogue boxes. It was just so convoluted that I couldn't pay attention to it. And I read a few good reviews on it. I mean, there were people out there who liked it, but I mean, it has an average of a 3.5 out of 5 rating.
Yeah, that's not great.
But that seems like a fitting. I mean, that's 70%. So that seems fitting for this one, because it wasn't like, the premise of it is really good. If it was condensed down a little bit and the art wasn't so just overborne, I think it would be a great story. But I just feel like the overusage of dialogue boxes and the overusage of just so many different colors that just look like they got vomited onto the page, it just really took away from it.
That artist looks familiar, or the art looks familiar rather. So I'm gonna have to look and see if I know anything about that artist.
And here's something that's interesting to me.
Let's hear it.
Gosh dang it!
Gosh darn it!
We talked about this comic already. It was the letter. What's the?
Oh no. Not Dark Beach. Oh no, I forget. Uh-oh. When we were both talking about?
Yeah.
8 Billion Genies?
Oh, no. Okay, I know who it is. Hang on 1 second. I'll get there.
You got this. I don't really know how to fill, because I don't know what you're searching for.
I know.
If you're reading
I'm trying to build up the suspense.
Oh boy.
Okay. And gosh, I'm just really winning with keeping it together today.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm almost there. I promise. I'm almost there.
I bet.
It is, as far as I can tell, it is the same
letterist. Okay.
That I really like.
Okay.
Hassan Atsmain Allahu. Yeah, it's so I do. So that's what I will give credit to.
Nice.
I guess is the lettering. But I don't know how much control over like where dialogue boxes, like the thought bubbles and speech bubbles and all that. I don't know how much thought goes into that for a letterer. And if Hassan is the guy behind it, this is my least favorite of his work.
Well, I would say it's probably more the artist who picks where they go, because then you don't.
Oh yeah, and he also did this one.
Okay, Oh, right.
which is my new one. Yeah. And then
Okay.
he did What's the Furthest Place from Here.
Right. Okay.
So,
So that makes sense then.
but yeah, I don't know. Like there's this, and maybe it was just the art and overcoloration of the art that took away from the dialogue and speech bubbles and all that for me as well. I don't know. I'm questioning if I should like give this one another shot.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we'll see.
I mean, maybe reread that one or just get number 2 and then see what you think from there. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
best you can probably hope for.
Or I could save myself $5 and
Yeah.
not.
But I was just saying, you mind if I swing into another
Yeah,
one?
let's go for it, man.
And you were just talking about how in that you appreciated kind of the lettering more than anything else. And I also said I didn't read anything by Vault, and this is probably like one of the I really can't think of many things that I've read by Vault. But this is one of the newer ones. This is by somebody who I really enjoyed, who wrote Join the Future. There's actually a funny, there's a page in here where some people are handing out brochures, and one of the brochures says, you can't really see it, but it says Join the Future. That right
Okay.
there. Yeah. So that's a fun little
that reminded me.
Yeah.
I'm pulling this back down. You can keep talking, but there's one line from Agent of World that I was just like, I love this line so much, but you keep talking about yours and I'll interrupt you later.
No problem. But you can see like there is like a shit ton of dialogue in this as well.
Yeah.
And I will say this, the art in this is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. I mostly like every page I was just stopping and like really soaking it in, because they do like fun like kind of Spider-Man-y stuff. Like you can see like the expressions around like the bottle and the guy's faces and stuff like that, of just
Yeah.
using like lines like old comic books kind of used to do. But the story is that they have essentially figured out how to do mind control. And so they started an app to help people break addictions through
Yeah.
mind control. And I the story so the story is really cool, the concept is really cool, the writing and the dialogue was very repetitive and kind of a little subpar, and or a little cliche and a little too earnest.
Okay.
But the art carries it, and maybe they're just trying to set up the story and everything, but everyone kind of sounds like every decision they make, like everything's just very dramatic. They're like and so I really enjoy it, like all the concepts and everything, but I'm hoping that in the later issues that the writing kind of finds like a nice pace to it, and isn't kind of so circular. And it feels like he just says the same things a bunch of times, and I understand that from like an artistic point of view of having like a refrain of like something that repeats, but the rhythm of it was kind of off and it just didn't flow that well. But I like I said, I really enjoyed the concept. I really enjoy the art. It pops in such a fun way. I'm trying to find, like look at this, man. Look at this picture. It's just somebody falling into water, but like
love that. I love the reflection of all of it in the water.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, will you flip it upside down for me?
Sure. Let me just do this. And again, sorry to anybody who's just listening.
Oh wow.
But
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm really enjoying the art. Honestly, like I'm really enjoying just looking through it. So I think that's something I want to start doing with comics more, is just look through them and not just like, because I think I retain the story and I kind of throw away everything else, but it'd be nice to kind of just sit there with the art and soak it in.
Well, and then again, that's why I like Righteous Thirst for Vengeance so much. Like, I think I've even talked about before in previous issues of it that I've reviewed, is it's like the art is so good to me that if the panel is displaying Central Park, you're not only like seeing like the beautiful art about it, like you can kind of like almost hear it. Like when you just like are able to sit in it for that long, like, even I showed on here, like on the bottom here, it shows Sunny walking through the market. When I'm reading those panels, like I can hear the chatter of the people in the market, and I can hear like, the people calling out like it's cost this much, or like how much for this. Like it just, when you can sit into art, or if art can actually just like bring that out like so rapidly, like that, those are like my favorite comics. That's also why I like Little Monsters so much, is because like so much of it is told through just.
I was gonna say Jeff Lemire's like the champion of that, of just being able to tell a story with as little dialogue as possible.
Like I would love to see some of his original like scripts for his comic books. Like, you know, the stuff he's put
you
on
could probably buy him. He
paper.
probably does auctions every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah. But just like to see what he's putting down on paper, and then the artist looks at that and it's just like, okay,
Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
I don't know. Did
Mark?
you? Hello?
Oh,
It shows
Mark?
me that I'm here.
There you are.
Am I here? Am I still here? Did I lose you? Hello?
Oh, now I think I got your back, but it might be a lag.
Huh. Oh,
Are you here? Are we back together now?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Say two.
Two.
Oh no. I think we might be off a bit.
Oh no. Two? No.
All right.
Can you hear me?
We're spaced out a little bit. Yes. But I think we're like a couple minutes apart in when we can hear each other.
No, I can hear you just fine.
No. Now I think I might have lost you altogether. Mark?
Oh no.
I'm going to try jumping off and jumping back on, bud, if you can hear me. Well, I'm going to just step away for a second. Well, I guess we'll try to bring him back on, see how that goes. Oh, he's still circling. Well, I guess I will try to land this plane without Mr. Mark. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the PullBoxPals podcast. Don't know what happened with Mark. I'm really sorry that this is how this.
Am I here?
We are now. We figured we got back. Oh my goodness.
All right. Sorry, everybody.
Well, sorry about that, friends. I think we should probably just wrap it up now, though, before we get any more technical difficulties like that.
As long as I got to come back and say goodbye, that's all that matters.
That is all that matters. Thank you so much for
I could hear everything that you were saying, by the way.
Yeah, I could hear everything. It was just a delay. Thank you for sticking through that with us, listeners. That was a real pain in the butt. But Mark, you wanna land this plane?
Let's land this plane. I feel like we could have talked a lot more if I hadn't gotten delayed, but that's all right, everybody, because we're gonna keep talking about comics, but not next week, because I will be out of town next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. I haven't even looked ahead to the future of what I'm getting, but as always, I'm excited about it because I love the details of not knowing the future. So, everybody, thank you for joining us. Oh, yes. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, I haven't been looking into the future at all. I've been going the past 2-3 weeks, kind of just blind to the comic shop. And it's been nice to just kind of just show up and be like, I don't know how many I'm getting or what's going to be here. So that's what I'm doing for now. Anyways, I interrupted you landing a bird.
I'm doing that from now. But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks. And as always, let us know what you're reading. Hit us up in the comments. I know we've lacked a little bit on posting more about what we've been reading, but Monk and I have both been slightly busy the last couple weeks, I would say.
But we'll try to do better at that.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow us on all the socials, and thank you to the IWEP network for hosting us and having us. We love being a part of this network. Make sure to check out our link tree that's linked to everything that we
speaking
have.
of, I finally got to watch a tornado tag. I made some time to watch that last Thursday, and it was just a whole new world for me, because like I'm used to bigger professional wrestling, and they're talking about like is it in their town?
I mean, it's in kind of our little I mean, it would be in the county or neighboring counties. I believe so. Yeah.
But no, it was really fun just to hear just what they're all about, and I might listen again tomorrow if I can find the time. So
awesome.
So yeah, thank you.
Good plug for tornado tag.
Yeah.
All right, bud. You have fun on your trip next week, and we will see you in 2 weeks, friends. Our dear pals.
Goodbye, pals.
Goodbye, PullBoxPals. We PullBox love you.
Always.